Hello, welcome back to another episode of Glee on the Rocks. I'm Emily,
I'm Mandy.
And I'm B.
and this is Mash Off, um, which is a consistent feature of Glee are the mashups, but this episode is actually just called Mash Off. It is the sixth episode of the third season. It premiered November 15th, 2011, and I feel like telling you the dates are really only important because of how long ago that feels now. It's like 9 years.
I mean, February feels like a decade ago, so
It
2011
does.
feels like it's so long ago it doesn't actually exist.
That it never actually happened. Yeah.
Are the Gen Zers here thinking of how old you were then? Was it really young? Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
I mean, it wasn't for me, but
But the Gen Zers,
We were in the prime of our youths.
the new
I
Glee
think
fans.
technically I'm a millennial,
I mean,
Probably.
I'm definitely a millennial.
Yeah.
but I have the heart of a Gen X.
And gross. I'm just kidding. I love Gen X.
Fine. So in this episode, I'm just going to read from the Wikia. The third annual mashup competition takes place with Brittany and Santana in the Troubletones with Mercedes. It's big trouble for New Directions. Wow. Puck has the hots for Shelby and tells of Quinn's true intentions. Bert and Sue's campaign heats up when the two Glee Club rivalry is taken seriously. Shelby and Will attempt to hold a mashup competition between the two clubs, but in secret. Finn and Santana plan a dodgeball competition. This episode was directed by Eric Stoltz and written by Michael Hitchcock.
Oh,
So,
Michael Hitchcock.
shout out to Mike.
He's a Glee fan that indoors,
He got in there. So I think we should probably top this episode with a content warning, I suppose. This episode features heavily a Puck storyline, which means there's a whole lot of Mark Salling footage. And Puck is not Mark, and Mark is not Puck. But if there's anyone who doesn't even want to go there, fast forward to insert point here. we'll put it in the show notes of when you can just kind of jump ahead, if we do this correctly. So we have to talk about Puck because it's a heavy storyline.
Well, the episode opens. Yeah, it opens with the solo of Puck doing Hot for Teacher, which is just too on the nose, I like Glee sometimes. I feel like, did the music make the storyline or did the storyline make the music?
Yes. Yeah.
If that makes sense. I feel like they were like, we love that song, and that would be great for Puck to sing it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They reverse engineered this whole thing.
So
It's a
come up with
conspiracy.
a way. Yeah.
It's, I don't know. It's not even an interesting storyline anyway because so much is happening. Well, those two things aren't related. That sentence didn't make a whole lot of sense, but like Puck having a crush on a teacher is a storyline, and Quinn trying randomly to get her baby back from that very same teacher is a storyline, and neither of them really needed to be told.
Exactly.
Like Quinn just wants her baby back because she just wants Beth back because she feels sad. And she feels sad because the storyline has decided that she's just not worth anything anymore. She's not head cheerleader, she's not head of the Glee Club, she's not prom queen. So she needs her daughter back.
And at this point, she doesn't even have a love
No.
interest, right? I mean,
Not really.
Yeah. They shoehorn her in with someone soon. But,
Joe.
Yeah. Joe Hart.
I don't know. Is that who it is? I literally
I think Joe's next.
I don't know. The whole storyline to me feels like they really, really wanted an excuse to give Idina Menzel more screen time. Which, I mean, sort of fair enough, but also, there's a million ways.
Yes, there are other characters that could have been. I mean, it's set in high school, so sure, she's a substitute teacher. But she's already Rachel's mom.
Yeah, she's literally Rachel's mom. That's not...
They literally never give a story arc to her being Rachel's mom.
Yeah.
In the first season, a tiny bit, but still it never lasts more than, like, 1 episode, and I'm like, "How
There's
what? We got
There's no way drama queen Rachel Berry would have been so,
just yeah, like,
yeah.
I don't
accepting
know.
and just yeah.
The drama's
Yeah.
already built in for her character in that that's her daughter who she gave up however many years ago. We don't need to add that she has then adopted another baby from her daughter's high school frenemy. Like, why not just stick to the one that was already there?
But even that specific storyline, they don't super explore, like, they say it
No,
explicitly in this episode, and it's so, like, weird to hear just, like, stated like that, where Rachel's just like, "I know, you adopted my friend's baby," or something, and I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, that thing we never talk about or explore deeper, yep."
because that wouldn't be like an ethical issue either with the adoption agency. Like,
Yeah.
whose baby is this? Your daughter's friend? Oh, no. We're not gonna do this. Yeah, your high school daughter's friend who is I so it's just nonsense. And then I think it would be a troubling storyline with Puck anyway. And we know that Puck's character has a thing for older women because that's been mentioned before with his pool cleaning business. And a high school guy having a crush on a
Yeah.
teacher is like it okay, sure. But given that it's Puck is played by Mark Salling, it just adds we sort of talked about this before we started recording, but it's like who who in Glee in the behind the scenes, like who knew what about Mark Salling and when did they know it and when was this storyline
Yeah.
decided on? And if they coincide, then fuck those people.
I mean, Glee is not a documentary. They sure love to
Like,
s
Right.
yeah.
it is disturbing. Like, it's
It
very
is. It's
disturbing.
disturbing in a way that I felt weird at the time and now just feels like you should not have done this.
Yeah. 'Cause, like,
This
all
was
3 of us
not
had the exact same thought, and I'm sure anybody who's rewatching the episodes, like, just seeing that scene of him holding the baby is like, "Ooh."
And that is the kind of thing I would love to hear, like, someone from Glee talk about, which I know that no one's gonna cross Ryan Murphy like that, but I mean, I would love to know how much information was shared. Like, did these people, like, really know that some of the storylines being written on the show were a little too close to truth?
yeah, there has I mean, it's not like they're ever gonna do an investigation, but surely
Yeah.
you almost want there to be. Like, what are the emails between Murphy and other people, and what were you guys hiding that could have been revealed a lot sooner? Because there's responsibility in being a producer and a studio
Yeah.
exec, and of course, they wouldn't want their show brought down by one of their actors being a giant asshole, but, it's worth it.
I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. I think showrunners in Hollywood will go a great distance in order to keep their
Mhm.
Yes.
property intact.
Yeah, I mean, we know that with all of the women who come forward after the fact saying, like, "This was the worst working environment, and the sexual abuse was rampant, and I told people, and it didn't matter." So, like, like, what's in Glee's closet? What skeletons are they hiding? And not even to hide it.
At this point,
Well, it's that Glee is
yeah.
not a documentary joke, is,
I
like, it's funny until you're like, "What? Were you hinting at something?"
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you were, you didn't say anything outright, fuck you, like well, not to start this entire episode
I'm
out
like,
on the saddest of notes. There
yeah,
was good stuff in that opening scene.
Yes, if we completely ignore context and everything else and just, like, put on our Blaine
yeah.
goggles, everyone. Just put them on
Mhm.
and watch that scene for what it is. It's an Aaron Christopherson scene is what it is, but, that's just me. Um,
It very much is.
but,
Yeah.
yeah, so fun. Great shots of Darren doing a bunch of funny stuff. He does, like,
Yep.
a big jump, like a toe touch, and grabs his crotch, like, I mean, it get much better than that.
I really appreciate watching someone else trying to match Harry Shum's physicality.
Right. it is. It's like the birth of, what do we call it? Bike
Bike.
Chanderson, that's it. The
Yeah,
birth of
Bike
Bike
Chanderson.
Chanderson in that episode, which is pretty fun to
And
watch.
an underserved Bro TP if there ever was one.
Yes, it did not get the time and development that it deserved. So
Did
great.
not. The 'cause well, wouldn't Blaine be the other Asian, or was his character not Asian? I could never quite figure that out.
We still don't know, do we? The
I don't
actor
think
who
we
was
do.
hired to play his mother was not Asian,
No, and
and that's
neither is
all I
his brother.
remember. Exactly, neither of them are Asian, so
Cooper
didn't look
could not be more white bread.
promising.
Bit of a wasp there. I did like Rachel being like, "That song is totally inappropriate." Like, what did you sing to Mr. Schuster in the first season?
Mhm.
Like, let's not forget your little crush.
Oh God, that's right. I'm not surprised I forgot about that. I'm even less surprised the Glee writers forgot about that.
So, the whole point of the episode is like okay, not the whole point. Glee never has a point of an episode, but so, like, Shu and Shelby are like, "We need to stop the fighting between our 2 teams, and the only way
Mhm.
to do that is to have a competition." Like,
Yes.
that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yes, uh-huh, I liked where she was going with this, like, they hate each other, now let's make it personal.
Right? Like, they don't try to, like,
Mhm,
mush the teams together, like, make them
mhm,
collaborate. They're like, "Yeah, this will solve the fighting."
mhm, mhm. I think that really shows that she's learned as an educator. Uh,
It's true,
I
kids
think
love
she's
Kahoot, Jeopardy, yep, and she's like, "Yes, the kids will love it," and love it they did.
Yep.
I mean, she does have the best mentor ever there in Shu, the Spanish
Mhm,
teacher
mhm, she's
extraordinaire.
really learning from the best.
So I will say that scene did give us one rare thing, which is a shot of them in a classroom,
Mm,
which was kind of funny because I feel like those people would not all be sitting next to each
no.
other. Like, I don't know. I get that at this point in the show they're supposed to kind of all be friends,
Are
but
They
they?
showed in, like, the last
yeah,
episode, like, some scenes of, like,
yeah,
Kurt and Artie and Tina, like, waving to Mercedes while they were in their other, like, makeshift choir room or whatever, so
Mhm.
that's but they don't talk to each other or have any storylines outside of it, so who
yeah.
knows?
Strangers in the night.
That mashup of the You and I is, like, just horrible, though. I forgot how bad it truly was, and then I was watching it
What are you
again, and I was like,
talking
"I
about?
hate
It's
this
so
mashup."
good.
Something about this place. Just you and I. Something about lonely nights and my lipstick on your face. Just you and I. Something about my cool Nebraska guy. Yeah, something about baby, you and I. Just you and I. Just you and I. Sharing our love together. And I know inside.
Idina Menzel has such a beautiful voice, and they gave her the worst songs this season.
I wonder if well, I was gonna say, I wonder if Leah Michelle had anything to do with that.
Well,
Is that too
it's not too far to speculate, I don't
I
think,
mean,
is that
if we've
too
learned
far? She
anything.
was like,
I think that door for speculation has
"It's
been opened.
wide open." I mean, yeah, it's a dumb I mean, I get why they mashed them up, but,
Okay, well,
like,
it doesn't make any
I
sense either
didn't
because they do the song and they're like, "You know what? It's because 2 unlike things can be great together." And then they
Mhm,
don't make that a theme for the competition that they have to pick 2 songs that are, like,
mhm,
opposite genres. Like, the New Directions literally picks 2 songs by the same they both pick 2 songs by the same artist, like, that
yeah,
so why even have that conversation? Where did that come from?
yeah. It's not like they had to do, oh, what was the what was it called? The Gray album when it was Jay-Z and Linkin Park
Numb.
back yeah, Numb, like, what if they had to do something like that,
I
like,
mean
actual
yeah, or, like,
opposites?
perform songs that, like, were mashups themselves, and then, like, it just the song that Shu and Shelby
Mhm,
sing has no correlation whatsoever to the assignment of the week. It's so weird.
mm-mm. Well, and a lot of their Glee does this though, right? Like, they give the show gives a thesis, but then the storylines around it are just, like, a little off track of what the thesis is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, let's have an episode about togetherness and it or rumors, right? Like, it's about the Glee Club breaking apart, but really it's an episode about a kid who's lost his home,
Right? It's like one
you
person,
know?
like, set up the episode, like, they were like, "This is the point," and the other person was like, "What if I only heard half of what you said, ignored the other half, and
Yeah.
then just went for it?"
Just really took off running
Yeah.
with that note.
Like, I would say this is one of the better episodes that doesn't really push the overall plot forward, like, it's not a competition episode or anything, like, there's no, like, super special event, but it's actually still a fairly good episode. I don't know, I mean, the
Yeah, I didn't hate this episode at all. I mean,
yeah, like, I enjoyed watching it.
yeah,
Yeah, songs were
I
good.
ended up watching it twice because of I'm not gonna say because of the gap between the recording, but because of the gap between the recording.
You guys, my microphone totally
And so
4 weeks.
so I watched it again, and by watched, I mean I fast forwarded through the Puck
Mhm.
stuff
Why is this a
because I was like, I don't need this, but I watched the rest of it, and, like, it's not a bad
no,
episode all in all. Um, and yeah, some of the music's real
yeah,
fucking good. I mean, I'm not gonna say, like, I don't have
but
issues
there's still,
with it.
like, no cohesion to the story. Like, the story is one of the better stories, and yet it's still a very bad story overall, structurally.
Mhm.
I mean, I like
Mhm.
the Santana
Yeah.
storyline, just because I don't know. I'm always going to be drawn to like
Yeah.
queer storylines of any flavor, and the whole like unwilling
Mhm.
outedness. I can't think of
Yeah.
words. Sorry. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Right,
Finn outing her that way. I don't know.
I do
right.
And this sets it up,
It goes over
but
multiple, like, episodes too,
this sets up
the
the
storyline did. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, it does. Which I feel like is because they just didn't care enough to have an entire episode about Santana,
Mm.
but I also think works better
Right.
in terms of telling the
Mhm.
story. It's sort of like Bert Hummel syndrome, where like the things they care less about that they don't put as much time into don't get
Right,
ruined.
right. I mean, I did like the continuation of Finn not being the the savior that I think he started out trying to be.
Yeah, he's much more of, like, an
Like,
anti-hero from here.
Finn's really kind of a dick in these sets of episodes between how he treats Santana. Like, no one deserves to be outed, but at the same time, Santana's been a bitch to him. But they have a complicated relationship, and she's also just kind of mean to people in general. And then his
It,
treatment of Blaine at the
yeah.
same time. Like in these couple episodes here, he really falls into not a bad character, but like not a good guy. And I appreciate that because it's something that feels kind of real that
And it's tied into,
the
like, him not feeling good enough for
yeah.
college, for football, like, yeah, his
Yeah.
storyline is actually I don't remember how it ends, but is right now, like, one of the longer running actual character arcs in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and I do think it calls back to like how he treated Kurt in the first
Yeah.
season, which is almost a troubling trend of like Finn has
Mhm.
issues with queer
A
characters.
little, yeah.
But I don't think they
Mm,
meant that.
mhm.
I just think that like Finn's the male lead, so if it's not an attractive woman that he can date, then it's someone he can butt heads
Right.
with.
Yeah, it would actually have
Because they kind of
I was gonna say, it would
like,
actually have been interesting if there was a main character who was struggling with the acceptance of other sexualities. But I don't think they were gonna make
yeah,
their male lead, homophobe.
no.
But he does you're right,
No. Instead, it just unintentionally happened.
unintended. Uh,
It's like, and I really don't think that that's what they meant to
right.
do. But between the fact that the three characters he
Right.
treats worst are at this
Yeah, yeah,
point
yeah,
like the three queer
Yeah,
or gay
they are.
characters. Because Brittany's bi, but Santana's
right.
just a lesbian, right?
I think it depends on what
Okay,
season you're
That's
watching.
true. Well, she self-identifies as a
true.
lesbian.
She does
Yeah,
now, yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
counts.
Yeah, wasn't there, like, an Ian Brennan comment or something? One of them was, like, who told, Naya Rivera, like, "Oh, Santana's a lesbian now," just straight up at the beginning of the season. I was like, this is your character now. Good luck.
Well, I mean, that's how it really happened. I mean, they did it on accident because we know there were no lesbians in the writers' room. But that
Mhm.
is kind of a very
Yeah.
authentic lesbian experience to be forcing yourself to have performative relationships with men because of compulsive heterosexuality, and then, realizing that actually I never felt anything the whole time and I'm a lesbian. Like, yeah, that definitely happens. So,
Mhm.
Yeah. And it also, like, not to get like personal, but I can almost kind of relate to the like slightly, I don't know, you're not emotionally attached to guys, so
right.
sex with them is a little bit
Yeah.
easier. So you have some of that
Mhm.
in a weird like denial, like, well, look, I can do this. Clearly, I'm not a lesbian.
There's this really great Google Doc that someone put together that's called the Am I a Lesbian Master Post. I think it's a must read
Oh,
for anyone. I really do. Because it talks about
interesting.
all the different, like, common, and of course, everyone's experience is different, but outlines some of the ones that would lead you to question, like, if you're a lesbian or not. And
Mm.
that's definitely one of them, is like you have a lot of casual sex, or it's like you have a lot of, very like deep love relationships, but you're just like a serial dater. Like, there, I don't know. There's a lot of different interesting things. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, it would kind of work into how she just kind of snatched Finn up because he was
right.
available and because it hurt someone
Hmm.
else, not because she really felt anything for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I don't know, hard to like point out any guy Santana was with she would have had like
Exactly.
genuine
Mhm.
feelings
Yeah.
for.
But I remember watching this 9 years ago and not understanding any of that, and just kind of being like, "What?" She's gonna
Right.
like that may have just been 2009.
Mhm.
Also, we were just like,
It was a different world
yeah,
back then.
I very much disliked Finn. And I watching it like the second, I don't know, this is probably my third or fourth rewatch. Just because I rewatched it more often.
Because you hate yourself.
season 1 through 3, I rewatched a lot. After that, I stopped rewatching.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
should say I didn't
no, me
rewatch
neither.
4 or 5 at all. Uh, but yeah, I just really, really disliked Finn. And it was a combination of using slurs towards
Mhm.
Kurt and generally not like handling that well, and the scene with Santana. And like, I'm not even gonna say it's unrealistic for, what's he supposed to be, like 17
Yeah,
here?
about.
A 17-year-old boy.
Mhm.
I still would prefer if like they actually dealt with that more. But like I said, I don't think they were intending on portraying him as homophobic, so
Yeah,
I'm not surprised that there's not more clarity on
yeah,
that.
he certainly doesn't have to reckon with anything.
I think they
Not
wanted
really.
to be like, "Oh, well, Blaine, is just the lead singer of the Warblers, and Finn's the lead singer of New Directions," which is preposterous,
Mhm.
but true somehow. And it's like,
And never the twain shall
And
meet.
Santana was leading to him.
so I think that's what they're trying to go with, but they never really face off about, like, they face off about the music, but it's more like about control of the group.
It really
And
is.
neither one of them in season 2, I don't know, like, Blaine definitely wasn't in control of the Warblers. They had a whole fucking council.
Nope.
And then Finn,
That he wasn't on.
exactly, he wasn't even on the council. And then
Yeah.
Finn was not in charge of the New Directions. Like, him versus Rachel, like, he never wanted to decide
Mhm.
on songs, or like, like, he was just the one who's like, "Oh yeah, guys, we're gonna do it, teamwork," and Blaine was just the soloist. So like, why would they butt heads? Like, that really doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. There were a
Yeah.
couple episodes, I think, where I like how we say, like, "I think," as if we haven't just watched them, but this is what time works like. There were times when, Schuster would be like, "Finn, you're the cheerleader, and you gotta step up and help lead this club," but it would be for, like, one
Right.
song,
But that's the thing is, okay,
and it's
Finn's the
not.
leader in
Yeah.
leadership, but Blaine was just the soloist. He was not the leader.
Yeah.
So,
No.
I don't know what Glee smoked.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
I mean, Blaine was the pretty voice that did what they
Yeah.
told him to.
Yeah, he's the two-stepper in the front,
Yep. They put him up there because he was short so that they could line people up behind
Honestly,
him and they could all be
that makes
seen.
sense.
You
And you don't
know?
have risers
You get a good
to practice with.
yeah, if you don't have risers in the adult and common
Right.
room, you gotta make do. You just put that pretty face up front. Junior, senior Blaine. Yeah, I did appreciate there were I mean, we're gonna get to the episode where, Finn and Blaine confront each other over nothing, but I think it would have been nice, and I'm just not remembering the upcoming episodes that well, but to see a little more from Blaine coming back at Finn, because right now it's just Finn being a dick to someone smaller than him, who's just like, "Yeah, that's okay, I'm fine with that." They're not really battling anything out. It just adds to Finn looking, like a
Right.
jackass when Blaine like, so where Finn is like, "I think we should give a solo to the
Oh.
new guy," and he gives it to
Mhm.
Rory over Blaine's head, like, literally visually over
Yeah, like
Blaine's head,
making a point while he does it. Yeah.
making a point, and Blaine's just like, "Okay." I mean, you can see it in his eyes that was like, I'm not gonna rise to this bait," but I think it could have been fun if there was a little more competition. Although then maybe I would have hated that too.
I wonder if they couldn't do that just because of like Darren and Corey
Right.
singing
And their height
together
difference
didn't
was
work.
That's
hard for
true.
choreography, so they were like, ah.
Yeah. They I just had a mental image of them doing, like, the Dirty Dancing where he just holds Blaine up just because he
Yeah.
can.
I will. Now I want to see
Like,
that.
that's how they
draws the fan art.
that's how
That's our like woulda
coulda, shoulda, woulda.
shoulda moment for this episode.
Wait, but who's holding who?
Well, obviously.
I want to see both ways.
Uh,
Oh my god, that's the best.
that's how they work out their differences is through the power of dance. Blaine and his watermelon.
It's so funny that that's even a combo where he was like, I say we give the solo to a new guy, because that's not a song. Ultimately the mashup does not have just one soloist. A bunch of different people solo at different
It
times.
doesn't at all.
So there's
I
no
know.
such thing like
Yeah.
I hate when Glee does that stuff. That just royally pisses, like, what, were your song people and your script people not talking to each other? Like,
No. Obviously not.
I
you
mean,
didn't pick a song where it just had one soloist throughout the song.
You know, we're gonna give this which is then also like, what if he already had that song in mind and he was like, "I'm gonna give the solo to the new guy," so even if he had given it to Blaine, there is no solo.
Right? It's just a solo, it's not the solo.
Yeah,
Can
it's
give
just
him
a
that.
line
Oh my god, that's
from
funny.
the back. God. Fucking Finn.
I do think it's an interesting part of Glee though, because you've got like the tension between the two Glee clubs and between like friends and that are like split between the two Glee clubs, and then you have the tension within the new directions that's brewing. I just
Mhm.
It's upsetting because it seems like it should be leading up to Troubletones like winning.
Yeah, it
I guess
does.
it's just another opportunity for new directions to like overcome all obstacles to win, even when they don't
Yeah.
fucking
No,
deserve
you're
it.
right. It definitely does feel like this, um, tension building, as you said, and I'm just stealing, should have led up to a real consequence for
Right.
them.
And they could have like learned from it.
And
also it would have been very satisfying after the
Mhm.
whole West Side Story thing if Mercedes
Yeah.
got like the win on Rachel.
mhm,
That just would have been so
it would've.
nice.
That would have made way more sense in the storyline, I think.
I am, however, going to assume from this point on that everything that would have been not quite a win for Rachel was just like struck down because Leah
Probably.
didn't want to do it.
You know, we could probably read that into viewing this, like, that's probably in the text. So there's no text. Well, it is text.
Like,
Who needs a text?
Well, like my partner and I were talking about the Leah Michelle accusations, and she was like, I don't know, like, doesn't she just seem like just like a stupid little girl you could just like not pay any attention to? Like, it just seems petty. And I'm like, you're right, it is. But Leah Michelle was like the it girl then, especially on that set. Like, she was like Ryan Murphy's special little girl, like she was like a direct line
Yeah.
to him basically. And think of all these people who've stayed silent for so long, years
Mhm.
later, because they're scared of her. And it's just now that like people have started to knock her down a peg that they feel safe saying anything. Like, that's crazy. Imagine being on that set every day.
Mhm. I think if Ryan Murphy wasn't the showrunner, like, if she was pulling this shit on a different show, it wouldn't have gone the same way.
Right.
I think it's because he, for some reason, had her on a pedestal that then gave her the authority by proxy to be, and the security, like the safety and security, to not get in trouble. And maybe,
It also
yeah.
it makes me like wonder. I mean, obviously Ryan Murphy has other pets besides
Mhm.
Leah. I don't think Darren is the same type of person Leah is, but it makes me wonder if people had the same eggshells around
Mhm.
Darren on like, if not Glee set, even though I would say like, especially by the like 5th season, it was clear that Blaine was getting more than
Right.
his share of
Right.
solos. But I don't know if Ryan Murphy having like his pet favorites is just like a constant thing everyone knows about, and Leah was just the one that would abuse it.
Yeah, it's hard to know because like she fell off of his gravy train. Like she hasn't been in his
She did.
latest
Right.
shows.
She did
Scream Queens for 2
Queens
Like
for how
seasons.
one
long?
season, two, but like Darren's been in half of the Murphy shows, and he got his own one. So if being Murphy's
Yeah.
number one offers you any sort of protection from mudslinging, then Darren's probably still under that umbrella.
I see what you mean.
Do you know, does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it does. Also, while we're talking about like only semi-related things to this episode,
That's the real
And that's
title.
the
maybe this would
podcast.
make
Only
maybe this would make
semi-related.
a better mini episode.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Darren and Leah touring together just makes me wonder, is like Darren the
Shit,
only
I
one
forgot
who's put
about
up with
that.
her, or
Dude.
like what
Darren
was
at least
going
knew
into
something.
that?
Yeah.
One of those stories that came out was that Chris had invited someone to sit with lunch, and he mentioned Darren as being someone sitting at the lunch table, and then Leah Michelle came over and made that person move. So, I mean, at
Yeah.
least one anecdote of, witnessing her
Yeah.
nastiness firsthand and presumably not doing anything about it.
Uh-huh. Well, he was too preoccupied with lunch with
Yeah,
Chris.
I mean, we understand.
Obs.
As he should be.
No, but see, that's so, I actually didn't even think really about what that tour must have been like, because I was not going to be involved.
There was that whole Lee Aaron Overstreet, whatever their ship name was.
They tried
It
so
was
hard to
really
make that a
bad.
thing, and no one gave a
Yeah,
shit.
no one cared, but they were really all trying to like feed off each other's fame for 15 minutes. And
well, I mean, I guess speaking of infighting and things being thrown, I don't make segues. The dodgeball seemed that's definitely a good way for teenagers to work out aggression, is to throw stuff at each other.
Right.
I did have some very like strong nostalgia at the sight of all those balls being like hurled around, because I avoided that game in school like nothing else. Because did your schools do the thing where at the end like somebody would end up getting all the balls slammed at them in the middle of the court?
No.
No.
Oh my god.
Like,
oh.
yeah, mine did. Yeah. No, it was literally just like
Yeah,
that, and
no.
like the coaches would just stand there and watch.
So was it nostalgia or trauma?
Yeah, I feel like we probably have to give like high fives all around at the end of the game, kind of a thing. It's the Pacific Northwest, a bunch of hippies.
Those dodgeball games were like, people were not gently throwing those
No.
balls. Also, I did usually last until the end because
You stay in the back.
I was kind of invisible. Yeah, stand in the back, which just made it even worse.
Yep, I stood in the back.
It ended up being like a game of me trying to get tagged
No,
by
I was
a ball.
about to say that. That's what I
like
do, is at the
halfway
beginning,
through.
just get in that first hail of them, just be like, I'm
Yeah.
out. Oh no, I gotta sit down.
Just desperately run
I'm
in
sure
the back.
I definitely like would just say, "Oh, I'm out now." When
I got tagged. Sorry.
Sit down.
Oh, I wish I could catch one and get back in. I don't know. And then I wonder, like, other countries in elementary school, middle school, high school, like, are you guys encouraged to throw solid objects at your fellow students, or is that just an American
just
thing?
the sound and the smell.
Is it even an American thing anymore?
No, I think
Like,
dodgeball's been axed.
Thank God.
We this is super unrelated. My elementary school, we had bow and arrow.
Oh, I did that in middle school.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Did you?
It would not trust. my
It was
class
like
with
they
this.
put the targets up on like
Mhm.
haystacks, and you could shoot an
Yeah.
arrow. It was like rubber tipped, I'm
That
sure,
was
but
what ours were
still.
like. We all had to be very careful,
Yeah.
like, to stay behind a line,
Mhm.
while everyone was shooting, and then they'd
Yep.
let everybody go and retrieve
Yep.
at the same time, yeah. Yeah. We
Mhm.
had bowling
Mhm.
too, which was fun because we got to be bused to the bowling alley across town. We could buy snacks. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, fancy. I mean, we didn't perform choreographed numbers while we did this, but I could see maybe you doing it.
Well, we wouldn't have had as cool of a song as they do in the dodgeball scene, the, One Way or Another, Hit Me With
Hit
Your
me with
Best
your
Shot.
best
Yes,
shot,
it's
yeah.
so good.
See, I thought this was a time where the song being on the
No,
nose
it was really
actually
good. No,
worked.
you're right. It was cute.
It was cute.
Like, alright, just do that, that's fine.
We know that's what Glee does.
I
I can complain about it, but it's not like they're gonna stop doing it. That was their MO.
no. I love Darren's short
Yes.
shorts. Well, most of the other guys are in basketball shorts.
But yeah, that was actually my other thought while I was watching it. Was like those would not be school regulation shorts for
No.
that game. Fingertip rule, Darren. It counts for you too.
There's many examples of Darren wearing the short shorts for some reason,
Mhm.
even when other people aren't.
He would have had to put on, like, a shirt of
I'm just
shame.
imagining. I'm imagining Ryan Murphy walking into costuming, holding the
You're like,
shorts,
"It's
being
time."
like Darren's
Those are like
Mhm.
some straight up Sophie shorts, like,
Maybe they were just his.
might have been.
Yeah.
I don't wanna judge, I just think that maybe
And that's how he got to be Ryan Murphy's favorite.
that was implied.
But I think that the dodgeball scene up until the violent end is like
Yeah.
just a fun scene, like the way that it's shot, like
It
it
is.
makes me it's reminiscent of like the mattress commercial in the first
Yeah.
season, kind of like the slow motion and the jumping
It
and the like
is.
yeah, it's an entertaining scene.
This is a very curious number in that there's no traditional choreography, and our mandate was to just do a bunch of crazy stuff.
It was Glee doing like what Glee did best in a very like unironic way. Like it actually.
Well, they look like they were having fun, although there were a few injuries involved. I don't know, did you watch so there's the behind the scenes for this one, there's like a 2-3 minute video of like behind the scenes filming of the dodgeball scene, and I had forgotten
Right.
that Kevin in his wheelchair bashed into Darren's knee.
Oh
I think
yeah,
there were
that's right.
a few injuries going around. That's what that happened. So
Yeah, with their schedule of like learning choreography and filming, I'm surprised there's not more.
yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fun.
No, yeah, I love that scene. It was interesting though, because it's like, okay, so the whole Troubletones team like hits Rory with balls at the end, right? But
Yes,
is it Santana hits him in the face, it makes him bleed, and so it's Santana's fault somehow.
yeah, because she
Or was it just Santana leading the
Was it?
charge?
Maybe that was it.
Don't actually remember. See,
But somehow
Yeah.
it turns into Santana versus Finn because reasons.
because they have history, and she's been calling him manatee tits for.
That's true.
I actually forget what her insult
tensions
was,
are
but
rising.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
yeah.
No, but I love that Kurt defends Rory. Kurt's just such a great character. I don't understand why people hate Kurt.
So okay, so this leads in, this dovetails, if you will, into my problem with his student council president campaign. Is
Okay.
he has the perfect thing to run on. He has the perfect platform of bullying, where he's been bullied. He had the whole fucking thing with Karofsky. He knows what happens in this school, but his platform at the time is obesity. Like, why was he ever running on tater tots in the cafeteria and not bullying when that's personal? It affects, I'm assuming, at least half of the school. Like, why did it take a new kid
Rory
being
being
hit
hit
in
by
the
a
head,
ball.
yeah, with a dodgeball to be like, you know what? That's right. Bullying is bad, even though I've experienced it for the last 3 years at the school myself.
And like
Yeah.
slushies are
Yeah.
like implied to be part of like a very regular.
Yeah, and like I
routine
know
for
no
them.
one's been slushied in like 6 episodes, but it happened frequently. But because it happened to the new guy. Yeah, that I don't know. Like, why wasn't bullying your campaign the entire time?
My headcanon is that Kurt just blacked all that stuff out.
It's like, I can't. He took a couple poppers and was like, I
Selective
can't
memory.
do it.
It's like, that's enough.
So during an out, they called it the debate. There was no debating happening. They were just giving speeches.
Right.
So and this was one of those Glee editing things where there was a mashup, a mash off, and then the student council president speech, and then back to the mash offs. Like, what does a day look like for McKinley? How many days have passed? Did they like flipped a coin and said, okay, the new directions are going first? They immediately perform, but then we go
After an outfit change.
After an outfit change, but then there's the student council president thing, and
Then we come back.
is this a whole week? Like, what the fuck happened here? Not that it matters. It's more of a just. Glee, and maybe they did this purposefully, but it never felt. Time didn't feel real in this show.
Right.
Until they hit a themed holiday episode, you were kind of like, where is it? September?
Yeah.
And I know some
Right.
TV shows do this to make the episodes timely for reruns, where you can just throw any episode on and you don't have to be like, oh, well, it's when, so that time doesn't matter. But when there's a school year involved and when is sectionals? We don't know. When is nationals? It just shows the fuck up, even though they haven't been.
After sectionals.
Right. Like, I don't know. The time in Glee just always felt like oh, hey, this episode's going to air around Christmas. Let's make it a Christmas episode. Why not?
I mean, you know what you get when you start fucking with the timelines. You get Junior Blaine.
That didn't happen.
Well,
I don't.
Be more specific.
Berenstein is spelled with an
and,
E, and there's no Junior Blaine.
Really, it was all about selling those records, and we know it. And
It
Christmas songs.
was. It really, really
Sold.
was.
Yep.
Anyway, so in the student council president debate / talk off, Rachel withdraws her candidacy and pledges her support to Kurt. I think we're supposed to feel like this is a good move, but she's doing it a bit out of pity because she's had a conversation with Shelby, her mother, to get her to sign a letter of recommendation for NIADA, that thing that's also happening.
That Rachel wrote.
Wrote for herself. Yep.
Yes.
And Shelby told her, and I guess reminded the audience, that Rachel has been in every fucking club that we've never seen her in.
It's about time.
And right. And doesn't.
Yeah. Which is funny because her actual resume or like whatever she handed to Shelby didn't say anything about extracurriculars besides Glee.
I guess you're just supposed to remember that in her freshman year, she was in actually every club because of that whole yearbook thing. But now I guess she feels bad for Kurt, who doesn't have all of that shit on his transcript, and decides to just hand over her voters. I don't know. It's one of those.
He had any, right?
Like, not that he had any. It's one of those. It's one of those moves that when someone does it, and either you're supposed to feel like, oh, that was really nice of her, but all I really felt was like, God, you're so selfish. Like, you just want to do this for kudos and brownie points, and I know it.
And to have your gay with you in New York, like, that's it.
Yeah, you're just trying to get your gay friend back so that you have someone to help you out on the, like.
Yeah. I mean, she wants a like human-shaped security blanket.
With
and
her
instead of just being a good friend this whole time, she's like, I'm going to give up this for you. Assuming, I guess, that she was going to win in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can already tell, like, this is going to be much, much harder for me to sympathize with Rachel.
Yeah.
Not that I did that much anyway, but
it doesn't help.
I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't help, yeah.
It's worse watching it back later, being older, and it's worse.
Being older and, like, remembering those people in real life who were like, I'm doing this for you. Like, you're not.
Right.
You're doing it
and
for
being
you.
too close to the situation and maybe believing them. Like, yeah.
Well, and just before that scene in the dodgeball scene, and I wrote it down because I thought it was important, Kurt says,
Well, maybe you should have thought of that before you walked all over me and your borderline sociopath that climbed to the top.
and then how many days pass before he's like, all right, I guess I'm your friend again. It just, like, their back and forth non-friendship really annoys me.
And it's like, we talked a lot earlier on the podcast about the potential Rachel had to be like a character we liked who was career driven, and like maybe she was a dick to other people, but she
Yeah.
knew what she wanted.
And if you haven't listened to that episode, go
And,
back
like-
and listen to it.
That's right. But yeah, like this season, like, is sort of the death knell of that.
Yeah.
Like the like bits of that character.
Right. Like Rachel can say 10 mean things and then say one semi-nice thing and everybody just forgets and forgives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's not powerful enough of a character for that. Like, if she was Quinn, who's like queen of the school, Quinn,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
and like, you know, and you're like, oh my God, thank you for like looking favorably upon me. But like, this is Rachel,
Yeah.
who everybody makes fun of and nobody really likes.
Right.
Yeah, she's supposed to be really unpopular according to what the show says.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Not that it seems like she actually is.
She's
but,
definitely
you know.
written as unpopular, unliked, and lower level in the hierarchy. And
Yeah.
yet,
It's like a big deal that she's dating Finn and stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Not that the football team is very liked either. You know, like, Jesus.
Or like the cheerleaders that all end up in Glee. Aren't some of the Troubletones supposed to be cheerleaders?
Yeah, all the
too?
backups.
So that whole like mix of like, this is the thing you do that gets you like teased and make fun of, except also these really popular people do it too.
Always with Glee. It depends on the episode and the day and the position of the moon, whether everybody loves the Glee Club or everybody hates the Glee Club.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And it's not like Shelby has any standing where if they were like, yeah, but it's Shelby's choir and she's cool. Like maybe Holly Holiday? If Holly,
yeah, they established her as
the cool teacher,
like, popular
cool and well liked, yeah.
I don't know. Well, I suppose we should actually talk about the mashup songs.
Yeah, I was about to say,
can't let them go. Obviously, let's get New Directions out of the way. They're doing a Hall & Oates mash up
because Hall & Oates never broke up.
Extremely underwhelmed.
You know how many other bands never broke up?
Yeah.
Fucking pick Hall & Oates.
Right? You had to pick that one.
I think that was just to get Darren's hair natural and to put them in fake mustaches.
Right.
That sounds like exactly what the thought process was. Yeah, I didn't really like the mashup.
No, yeah, not a fan of that one.
Yeah, I think also in the face of rumor has it, someone like you, it really. How are you? Yeah.
I heard that you settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now. I heard that your dreams came true. Guess she gave you things I didn't give to you. Whoa, rumor has it, yeah, baby.
Like, that was amazing.
It's so good. It's so well shot. It is so well performed. The choreography is great. Their dresses are slamming.
Yes. The drama of the lighting.
Yeah.
And like, Naya's a good actress. Yeah. I know there are a lot of like people don't like her too, but like she can convey emotion through.
She
music
really can.
Pretty well.
Those close-ups and like her little side looks at Brittany.
Some of the actors, some of the actors on the show struggle a little bit with Corey.
Oh, Corey.
I
mean,
bless him.
I feel very fond towards him, but no, he was not that good at
the emotional scenes. Yeah, but yeah, Naya could kill it, and just. If you're gonna have soloists,
and
Amber and Naya, exactly. Like New Directions cannot hold a candle to them.
No, I mean the Troubletones just took the best singers and were like, "We're out." Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they win?
Yeah, they have all the best dancers too from the cheerleaders.
And they clearly seem to have a better budget for dresses.
Yes.
So, and it's not like those women aren't strong enough if they want to do partner moves.
Right.
They could dance together. It's not like they're
Do all kinds of
very,
stuff. They could do
yeah,
tumbling, like, shoot. Oh,
Right.
right.
yeah. Like they don't need Harry. They've got the others.
They didn't pick a winner, did they, of the match? I guess that wasn't the point of the mash-off.
No, but obviously there
To
was
pick a
one.
winner. Right, but clearly there was, yeah.
Clearly,
Maybe that's why the New Directions didn't try too hard. They weren't gonna pick a winner, so
No.
we just sang Hall & Oates.
Do you know, this is such a random ass thought that I just had, and I don't know why I've never thought of this before, but I think it would have been really cute if you'd had the characters ever like humming the songs that they're practicing as they're just like walking around.
That
Or
would be
like
cute.
if
Oh,
like
that would've made
later
sense,
you
too.
hear Kurt just humming like rumor has it to himself, just kind of like
Mhm.
grooving, because they watched the whole performance and they were clearly interested in it. Would have been just fun to like, yeah, everyone's performing these songs and everyone's working really hard and it's really good.
Wow.
Yeah, that would have been like nice, I guess,
Yeah.
continuity almost.
Or just
with,
like real world
them having
yeah, like
actual
real
lives.
Yes.
world behavior.
Yeah, if we had ever seen them actually practicing songs more than, like,
Yes.
once in the whole series, yeah.
I mean, I guess at least the Troubletones, we see them meeting, you know?
Right,
So at least
to sing,
Yeah.
we're
and
never
not just sing random assignments of the week.
yeah, like the New Directions don't have to practice. So clearly we're not going to watch the Troubletones practice, but it was nice to see them having post class time. Like, yes, this takes up part of their day,
Yeah,
but it wasn't
I know,
enough.
I wish there was more of that.
It's funny when you're a fan. I think it's a thing that I think creators don't really understand during a show, is that oddly enough, something a lot of fans really want to see are the minutia and like the day-to-day lives of their characters, and not so much the huge plot points.
Right.
Like a plot arc has rises and falls, and like the story that, what is it, the 7-point storyline, like whatever. But if someone loves a character, and if your job as a writer is to make your fans and your audience love a character, whether they're a good person or a bad person, like you love them and you're interested in them, then you want to see that like bullshit of them folding their laundry or going grocery shopping. It's all the stuff that we end up writing in fic because it's not in the show.
There's a reason that Because of the Layer scene is, like, one of the best,
Yeah,
like, the
'cause
most enduring, because
it's small
it's
and
character.
quiet and intimate, and it's yeah.
Mhm.
This is like bringing another fandom into it, but
No.
like it's interesting for me, being in like an RPF fandom besides this, where they are very self-aware, to the extent that like one day out of the year, Dan and Phil would, for like, they did 6 or 7 of these, would literally just film one day in their life, and that was like an event. Everyone all year long looked forward to the day in the life video, which is literally just them making breakfast, them watching anime together, them like doing the grocery
They get
order.
it.
Like, they were like, we will give you one day of domesticity a year. But then like the rest of their content was just like, they knew that the bantering between themselves was what people wanted.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
but they gave people like, it's not that different in terms of what an audience wants out of them from a TV show.
Yeah.
So yeah, that just would have been very nice if someone on like the Glee set or any set like that would realize that. I mean, when I watch the X-Files, like what I want are the 2 minutes of Mulder and Scully talking at the end.
Yeah, like, all right, go hunt your aliens, blah blah blah, but like give me the office scene where their feet are up on the desk and they're eating ice cream, like non-fat tofuti rice dreamsicles. Like that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and Glee just always wanted the big drama.
It did. Yeah.
You can't just exist. You gotta be breaking up or making up or destroying lives, or
Can't just be quiet and intimate. You just gotta
Like, there are even moments in Glee where it like felt like this was supposed to be us getting what we wanted, but like I ended up resenting them. And I'm thinking of a specific the like dance number in the New York
I was gonna say
apartment.
the dance number in Glee.
That
You make me
episode
feel so
where,
young.
like, Blaine thinks he's fat. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But, like, and it was so nice to see all of those things, like, shot in film, but I'm like, in the context, I
Yeah.
can't
I
enjoy
know.
it, so, like, thanks,
Yeah.
asshole.
They
Thanks.
couldn't just give it to us. Couldn't be happy.
This is not what I
Yeah. I'm
wanted.
like, yeah, I
They had to
wanna
keep
see
us
them
bitter.
I wanna see them brushing their teeth,
Yeah.
but not
Yeah.
like this.
Yes, I wanna see Blaine getting out of bed, but not with gel in his hair.
Yeah.
Come on.
We're
That one
we're
felt
gonna enjoy
personal,
that
I'm not even
scene
gonna
for
lie.
what it is.
I think that one was personal
That one
just
felt
for
personal
you.
when they're like, "Yeah, he's gonna get out of bed in the morning, and he's still gonna have gel in his hair." Like, you know what, Murphy? That one was directed at me, and I don't care for it. Hurts to this day. Doesn't even hurt, I'm angry.
You know, sometimes Glee would be poking fun at itself, and other times Glee would just, like, not think about shit like that. Like, somebody already put the gel in Blaine's hair for the day
Yep,
before they were like,
exactly.
"Oh, you know what?
They were like, "Well, we
We
can't
can't ungel
unshellac
that."
that right now, so
It's gonna take us 2 hours to
that's
redo, so
I wouldn't be surprised if his hair in the Hall & Notes number was like a wig. Like, they're straight up like, "You know what? The shooting schedule's too tight today. Just wear the wig for the number. I'm sorry. We can't ungel the hair."
I feel like I remember people joking that, Darren's wasn't a fake mustache, he just grew it really fast. I was like, "Well, you know, that coulda happened." Anyway, rumor has it, the best.
Rumor has it the best, hands down, yeah.
We're gonna let people vote on songs on Instagram, but, like, come on.
If you pick anything else, you're wrong.
If you're gonna be
yeah,
wrong.
we're gonna personally reply to everyone that picks something else just to
Yep.
tell you that you're wrong. So if you want that shout out,
If you're looking for a personal shout out, we got one coming for you. Yeah.
Oh my god.
that's what Wesley feels
There was
about it.
that
Was
was
Wesley?
that was one of our podcasts
Okay.
voicing
Just gonna
his
put a
opinion.
cameo. He has a wonderful cameo in the Q&A episode posted on our Patreon, so go be a patron so you can hear Wesley's super cute cameo
Yeah,
in that episode.
if you want to hear one of our 12 cats.
And if you would like an introduction to each of our podcasts, you can visit our website, gleeontherocks.com.
That was an excellent shout out. Wow. I
Oh my
gotta learn
god,
how to do that.
seamless.
Well, then we should probably start wrapping this one up. Is there anything I mean, I don't have to ask what our favorite song was. It's Rumor Has It, Someone Like You. Done.
Done.
Before we hit up our indices, and I have a note from a loyal listener about the name of one of the indices that we will address. But are there any
Oh, I don't know.
final comments, notes, thoughts, critiques of this episode?
I
Yes.
have a final note. This episode has one of my like all-time favorite non-plane moments, which is when Brittany sings "Stop the Violence" and Santana just like
Oh,
grins at her.
yes.
Yes.
That scene where they're standing at
Yeah,
the piano is
like
so cute.
yeah,
They're
like nothing is gonna top Clane, but if I'm like excluding Clane moments, that is like one of my favorite, just like small, insignificant, like
those are some of my
things.
favorite Britney lines where so she said something earlier of just like
Yeah.
Rachel Berry's still on MySpace and thus unfit to lead.
like perfect, done. Amazing.
I'm loving, like, falling in love with Britannia
Yes.
after rewatch,
Yeah.
because I think I was a little biased at the time and not as appreciative and in the closet myself, so I'm just really loving it. It's great. But on the other hand, this episode did not have enough Clane in it.
This is true. This is true.
Or Artie.
Well, that does lead us to our indices. And the note comes from Allison, who I have to full disclosure, former roommate Allison has been yelling at me and us that the Kevin McHale scale should really just be the Kevin McScale.
Oh, that's
So
great.
it is now officially the Allisoners Kevin McScale. So,
I'm okay with that. Like, yeah, I'll sign off.
so you're welcome, Allison. Say hi to Pickle.
Aw.
Other podcat who is not currently here.
Honorary
Honor,
podcast.
that's what I was looking for. Honorary podcast. Well, so how is our Kevin McScale today? Not great.
0?
I mean,
I want to give him half a point for injuring Darren.
okay.
Since it is the Kevin
This is
scale,
true.
not the Artie scale.
This is true. And you know what? We don't know that he didn't do it on purpose.
Like, only because Darren wasn't, like, seriously
True.
injured.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
Great. We'll just give him that 0.5. Our Claim decks. So this episode does include Kurt and Blaine looking out of the window in the choir room together.
I forgot about that scene. Oh, I love that.
So that's like
Blaine's also very cute when Kurt gives his speech.
Yes.
He's so proud.
He is very proud.
He does a little hand clap.
That's just because Darren doesn't know how to clap.
I know.
So I don't know. Is that a 3 or 4? Really, really feeling it here.
I feel like 3 out of 10. They didn't have any dialogue
Okay.
towards each other necessarily. It was more about the cameramen and the editors. The writers didn't give a fuck about
I
Blaine
think
in
we
this
can even
episode.
just give them a 2.
All right, just downgrading it.
Yeah, just downgrading it. We gotta show our displeasure somehow. 1 for the choir room and 1 for the speech.
Okay.
Great. And we already have our coulda, shoulda, woulda of Blaine and Finn doing Dirty Dancing.
I had forgot about that for a few minutes, and now it's just right back in the front of my mind.
I don't forget anything.
How could you? With such a strong visual.
And I take notes.
Oh man. And also, once again, the lack of an actual storyline for Rachel and Shelby. They're just still having a weird one-off conversation.
Mm-hmm. Because that's a big thing.
Heavy and could turn into more, but it never does.
I mean, imagine the awkwardness of a scene, especially, well, I guess we can't have Jeff Goldblum anymore because canceled. But imagine the awkwardness of a scene of Rachel making Shelby come to dinner with her 2K dads. Especially because isn't one of them Brian Stokes Mitchell? I'm pretty sure that Brian Stokes Mitchell is Rachel's. Is Rachel's other dad, and he is another Broadway star.
Oh.
And then you could have a thing like, well, obviously this is how her I don't know.
Yeah, no. I mean, her dads are a fucking delight in the episode that they're in. Like, and Shelby's Idina Menzel is a fucking delight. Like, yeah, it would have been funny. Yeah. Did she see Rachel's dad's when she comes into town? She's just living there for a while.
I know.
Did she like go to dinner with them? Yeah.
That would have been a fun scene. Yeah. I think. Mandy, get on it.
But instead, we got the trash heap Shelby storylines that they have. Like, oh, it could have been so much more interesting.
It could have.
Why did they have to make Quinn their like scapegoat again? And like, oh,
would have been a lot more fun focused on Rachel. I mean, not that I want to give Rachel more storylines, but focused on Rachel and Shelby, and not Shelby and Quinn and Beth and other.
I'd rather Rachel have a storyline like that than just another storyline of her being really selfish, but then she's nice one time, and so she's the best ever, and then she just gets to be selfish again. Like, oh.
All right.
Well said. Well said.
So I guess that I think we're gonna call that the episode. Great. I'm done.
We did it.
Our wrap up housekeeping that one day we're going to be really good at. We have recorded and posted our Q&A episode, which was in honor of our first 10 patrons. That is available on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/Glee on the Rocks. If you want to join, awesome. If you don't or can't, that's cool too. We're fine with it. So
appreciate you anyway.
Yeah, you can still listen. We're cool. We love you. We made a website. It is called gleeontherocks.com. We are thinking about ways to make the website super cool, which may end up including like a rant corner of a blog where we take turns ranting about something Glee or Glee cast related in short form typey and not talky. I don't know why I said it like that,
like
but that's
the typey too.
The typey and the not talky.
The typey.
If you haven't, if you feel the need to leave us a comment or a review or a rating on your podcast platform of choice, we would appreciate that and love that.
If you do and you send us a screenshot, it could be a bad review. I don't care. I mean, I do care, but also like I'll still send you a picture of my podcasts.
Yeah.
That's true. We can offer podcast
Yeah.
pictures. Is that pay for play though? That might be
No,
illegal.
well, it's not currency.
Isn't it though?
I'll send you one. Okay. Purchase not necessary. You don't have to. You can just send us an email and say, I want a podcast picture, and you'll still get one. But
Yes.
we'd especially like it if you would tell us that you left us a review, and then
Yeah.
you'll get 2 podcasts.
I gotta say, when I said earlier I have an idea, it was absolutely a Patreon tier where we send you a picture of like every single
Amazing.
cat once a week.
I would love that.
That was the
That would
Wow.
be fun for
I
me.
like that you both arrived at it. A podcast tier.
Oh, I love it.
Amazing. Super. All right. Well, we might have to do that. We will have another mini episode coming for you, and we are working on a special episode that we're super excited about. We also have our first 2-part Voices of Glee episode where we had 3 other amazing fans talk about their experiences with Glee, and that is also available, and it is awesome. I think that's the wrap up, right? Just about as long as the episode.
Got a lot of stuff going on. It's
Got
fun.
a little stuff going on. Yeah, so thank you for listening. Stay safe, wash your hands, and god damn it, register to vote if you haven't. Get out there.
Please do.
Just do it.
Yeah.
So that's what you
Wear a
missed. Wear a mask. Jesus. Wear a mask and vote, and wear a mask while you vote.
Amen.
So that's what you missed on Glee.